Welcome to Voice of the Soul. Here on this channel we explore emotional healing, inner truth and spiritual evolution. In today's podcast, we'll explore feminine rage as a healing force, a fire that rises not to harm, but to awaken, to transform, and to reclaim the power within. On the journey of emotional healing and spiritual awakening, have you ever experienced a wave of rage, raw, fierce, and unfamiliar, arising seemingly out of nowhere, with or without a clear trigger? At first, this surge of anger may feel alien. You might not recognize it as part of your identity. And yet, the intensity feels overwhelmingly real, impossible to deny or ignore. As someone who tends toward peacemaking rather than conflict, I found this emotion both liberating and confusing. After all, isn't healing supposed to lead us to peace, mindfulness, and compassion? Isn't the spiritual path about cultivating love? So you might ask yourself, am I failing emotionally and spiritually? Why is there so much anger within me? Before you diminish this powerful emotion with doubt, consider this. What if your feelings of being wronged, betrayed, unheard, unseen, shamed, or disparaged aren't just your personal experiences, but also an ancient inheritance? A legacy passed down through the women in your bloodline, and carried within the collective feminine? This is your feminine rage, and it is sacred. Why is feminine rage a sacred force? Let's face it, those sudden, intense waves of anger are often signs that deep healing is underway. After a spiritual awakening, raw emotions feel more real, more immediate, and long-buried wounds begin to surface and resurface. For many of us, these wounds are not only personal, they are inherited. They belong to the women in our bloodline and to the collective feminine. This is generational rage, silenced anger, unreleased frustration, and repressed resentment passed down through centuries of conditioning and cultural suppression. In societies dominated by wounded masculine energy, women have long been pushed into roles that are non-confrontational, self-sacrificing, agreeable, and accommodating. Many of us, especially those with empathetic, peacemaking natures, have become disconnected from the fierce, healing archetypes within us, such as Kali and Lissa. These goddesses represent the wild, powerful energy that shatters illusions and liberates the soul. Today, as society evolves, we see a rebalancing of feminine and masculine energies. But this process is complex. On the surface, some feminists argue that women are rising above men. Some men complain that women now have more rights. But if we look more deeply, through the lens of history and personal experience, women are still carrying the weight of stigma, seen as less rational, less important, less productive, less prestigious. This burden stems from internalized disbelief, societal limitation, systemic injustice, ancestral trauma, and historical oppression. So when rage begins to rise from deep within you, bursting through the cracks of your silence, it is not a sign of weakness or failure. It is the emergence of your sacred feminine rage. It often arises after years or lifetimes of being silent, of people-pleasing, of shrinking to fit in, of bypassing your truth in order to be accepted. But let this be known. Feminine rage is not the opposite of love. It is born from the depth of sacred love. So your feminine rage is not pathological, irrational, excessive, or unattractive. It is the body remembering, the soul calling, the truth rising. Walking through the spiritual alchemy. As a force of transformation, feminine rage is a sacred catalyst. It helps initiate fundamental rebalancing in our lives, our lineages, and our society. Feminine rage challenges societal norms that demonize anger, especially in women. It calls for a re-evaluation of these emotions we've been taught to suppress. When you honor your voice and stand up to injustice, both in personal relationships and in broader social contexts, your rage becomes a protective force. Through facing confrontation and conflict, you master a strength that won't come from chasing harmony and staying silent. This rage is not just your own, it is ancient. It has been passed down through generations, carrying the weight of silenced voices, broken dreams, and untold grief. When you allow yourself to feel it fully and move it consciously, you begin to break cycles of trauma that have lived unspoken in your lineage. Your healing becomes ancestral work, alchemizing pain into wisdom. Reclaiming sacred rage leads to greater self-awareness, emotional freedom, and personal empowerment. It's not just about feeling the rage, it's about channeling it into constructive action. The cage built from shame and denial has imprisoned our freedom to express emotional integrity. But true personal liberation comes the moment we honor this fire within. Releasing rage doesn't mean screaming at others or acting out violently. It means intentionally giving your truth a voice. Creating safe spaces for this energy to move, through physical exercises, howling in the woods, pouring heartfelt emotions into journaling, or somatic practices like yoga, dance, or bodywork, allows your body to release what words alone cannot. And remember, you were never meant to hold this alone. Sharing stories and witnessing one another's rage is deeply healing. Your rage is not a curse, it is a medicine. The world needs healed feminine energy now more than ever. As we heal through rage, we invite the wounded masculine to rise and meet us in balance. Together, we begin to co-create a more just, awakened, and harmonious world. Conclusion. The spiritual journey rarely starts in a state of Zen. More often, it begins in the chaos, in the aching, the confusion, the unraveling. It's about walking straight through the fire of your own transformation. It's messy. It's wild. It's full of sacred storms. But within that storm, you are walking closer to remembering the divine goddess within you. Every time you feel the rage rise in your chest, every time you speak what was once unspeakable, you reclaim the power that was buried beneath imposed shame. This is not devastation. This is alchemy. This is healing. This is truth. You are not irrational. You are not broken. You are not regressing. You are waking up more fully, more fiercely than ever before. Let your feminine rage be the force that forges you, not something to hide, but something to honor. Let it burn through the false narratives that kept you small, silent, and afraid. Let it guide you through this sacred journey. Dance with the cosmic rhythm that resonates with your own unique beat, and honor the liberating, fierce, and courageous goddess within you. Thank you for tuning in Voice of the Soul. Until next time, stay anchored in your most powerful energy. Sending you love and light.